Everyone, so I wanted to get back into making some videos. I set up a new space and it's right by the window, and my cat Jerome that just walked by, she is very nosy and just wants to be a part of things. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the organization I've tried to use for my washi. Hi, Jerome. For my washi samples and my PET tape loops. I've used these binders from Muji. They are not holding up super well, but can't tell if this is, well, essentially it's a binder that has 30 rings and it is an A4 size, and the price is like $7 US, I guess, but I picked this up several years ago. You can see from the tape that it cracked. I think I might have dropped it. Oh, I know what happened. Jerome sat on it and it cracked the spine. So this is what a normal one would look like. But, you know, I'll just continue using it until it completely breaks down and no longer functional. What I used to use these for is sticker organization. So I still have some stickers here that are like those quarter sheets. And I thought I would use more character stickers, but recently I kind of just used fountain pen. But these are split up into quarters. So it's an A4 sheet of paper that has 4 pockets. And I put the samples that I swapped for, or just had some, I don't actually remember 100% where all of these are from, but a lot of them like Happy Mail or they are mostly swapped from Facebook groups. You can do kind of a wish list as you participate in events that are hosted on Facebook groups. So these are, I guess it's not super ideal because they are only on one side, like the pocket, there are no pockets on this side. It can look a little bit messy, I guess, but that is what I've started to use for now, just so I can look at all of them. Normally, or previous to this, I had them in a little pouch and had to dig through it every single time. I don't know if this is more useful, definitely not as portable, but this is my solution for now. The other book that I have is for PET tape loops. And essentially, I cut out the loops, but the full rolls that I have, I keep in these document cases. So this is another A4 document case, and it's pretty tall, like it's pretty substantial. And I got these at Daiso. I think this was $69, so like about $2.50. And this is what it looks like. This is my collection mostly of Meow Illustration and some other miscellaneous brands, but my PET tapes, like Simply Gilded, I need to take out. I want to house them in a separate container, and that's why I ended up getting 2. So I want to move all these into here. I actually have a couple more, so it will fit, I guess, pretty nicely, but I'll do that a little bit later. The problem is when you shop at Daiso, sometimes they don't have the same items in stock, and you can wait forever and they'll never come back. So this is the other item that I got that is a similar idea, but this has kind of a locking mechanism, which is not great. And also this was more expensive. This was $99, which means that probably like $5, $6, $3, I don't know actually the exchange rate right now, but I thought it would be more useful than it is, but the locks are a little bit unwieldy and sometimes get stuck, and I'm sure that this plastic will break pretty quickly over time. But this is my Loy design tapes. I have the most of these. I think I have a lot of Simply Gilded as well, but this is the PET tape full rolls. Let me know if you want to see a video of this collection of full rolls. So today I wanted to organize some of the PET loops that I have. I made a video about a crafternoon that I participated in. And so I wanted to find a space for all of these beautiful PET loops that I don't know, like I may in the future get some samples. Full rolls of these, but I just decided that I should curb my spending. But there are some pretty nice PET tape samples that I have. Oh, okay. I don't know how distracting this is going to be. How she's just always gonna she's very curious. Okay, so I had started to label them, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep up with that. Most of these samples I've gotten from trades or swaps or kind of like wish list type things. This Books and Cats is discontinued, or not discontinued, but it definitely is not in stock anymore. But I missed out on it, I guess. So a couple of like Simply Gilded near the front, and then this is some sort of fern, and then I have some Meow illustration, Lowy design on these ones. And what's really nice about this binder system is you can remove each of these page protectors and you can move them all around. These are pretty inexpensive. I got them off of Shopee, but I've been seeing a lot of alphabet letters. What I noticed about these though is the ones from Asia, they don't really give you a good selection of letters you'll actually use. Like there's not a lot of E's or not a lot of E's, A's, S's. It's just not that useful. And then I definitely, when I receive samples from events or like exhibitions, I didn't have a chance to organize them until like I put it into this kind of system, which I think is going to work out quite well for me. So most of them are going to be too long. A lot of the PET tape loops in Taiwan or in Asia are quite generous. Well, the designs are very generous. Like there's just a lot of illustrations from the makers, and so it can be challenging to store them and then not cut the designs. So I'm just gonna cut around. These are all fussy cut ones. That's kind of, I think the direction of having all pre-cut tapes is very North American thing. In Asia, we definitely have tried, I think most of the creators and makers try to be more cost conscious because each roll is already very expensive. So by adding another kind of expense by pre-cutting is difficult. So this one, these three designs are all from Use World, so you can go online to search for that. But on Instagram, it's Battypei, BATTYPEI. So this is a little bit too long right now. I think what this will encourage me to do is actually pull this out and use it. So I'll just leave this little piece a little bit longer. I don't want to cut it super short. But try to fan them out, and they always kind of go back to just being really messy. But that is what I'm going to do, and just try to sort them and then come back after that. So I finished putting everything away. I added one section here. So these are transfer paper, like transfer stickers. You're supposed to peel the backing. I think you're supposed to cut it off, peel the backing off, and then use like a tool to kind of burnish it onto a page. So it's my first time trying those. I'll just kind of keep them here. This was a Simply Gilded little sticker. I don't know, maybe I didn't have to move that. I will just leave it here. This is on washi paper, and I will move this postcard that has most of those houses down here, just so you can keep them a little bit separate. So that's I didn't change much with this binder. This is the one that's a little bit broken, but I did add a lot of my PET samples here. If this is actually easy to see, because everything's clear. But essentially, I just put all of the washi the PET samples that I had gotten from that crafternoon, starting from here. So this is the cats and the florals. This is from Yu's World, or Batty Pay on Instagram. And then these were miscellaneous, like random ones. I found that if they were a little bit shorter, I could use actually all 4 pockets. So these are, I think, just random offcuts. I met somebody at the Crafternoon who has a large collection, so I purchased some of these offcuts. I think it was kind of like, she said it was a couple centimeters, like a couple 100 centimeters. And she asked me if I had any requests. So most of them I said no people and more florals if possible. So that's what she provided for me. Just mostly random things. I think that I would start here actually if I was using these. So I'm gonna move that probably just 1 page over. I also have some random items here that I think this is also from the Crafternoon. So it was a little bit difficult to figure out what who was giving what, because they were giving a lot of gifts and I couldn't remember people's names. I was like, I wouldn't say anxious, but I was a little bit nervous about meeting all these new people and then speaking in Chinese or Mandarin. And so this was from somebody named Claire. I don't know if she drew these or if this is just part of her collection, but they're kind of like fountain pen and nibs. This is Loy Design. I was really happy to get a sample of her hands. I couldn't decide if I wanted to buy an entire roll, like how to use all these hands, but I really like the bows, and I thought I was kind of also trying to figure out if I should buy these. These are plum blossoms, I believe, with a little foiling. There's a lot of like gold, very delicate details, and everything's hand-drawn by Loy Design. So you can tell why this is probably the largest collection that I have. The Crafternoon was pretty much hosted by Loy Design. So this, I think these are gonna be newly launched. I have to kind of check that out. I was a little bit confused because it was 2 loops, but they were all going in different directions. I don't know what's going on there. This I'm really excited about. These are pre-cut. So also Loy Design, and then there's a lot of these like very beautiful gold details, gold foiling details. So you can see kind of, this is the set that has no foiling and this is the one that did. So when she was giving these little gifts, little samples, it was kind of part of the manufacturing process. So it wasn't, I guess it wasn't really like, it was to not waste some of the items that she was getting made. And then there was somebody at the very end of the Crafternoon that came, and I talk about it in my Instagram live, which I will have it posted on YouTube as well, just uploaded the entire raw video. And then there was a collaboration roll, so it was 4 different artists that made one giant roll. So I cut them based on the art styles or the illustration styles I'm really gonna have to try to research a bit more because I don't know who these creators are. And then the last page, I had some of these really special like Loi Design die cut foiled paper labels. So each of these are stickers and you can perforate. They're perforated, so you just rip one off. I quite like that. I actually have purchased the whole roll of this, but these were just some samples that were given during the afternoon. And then I still don't know how to use these label things, but I will try. A lot of people like to use them to seal like little paper envelopes, which is nice. So that is my collection. Oh, and then at the very back, I have some of these, like the backing paper. So sometimes I'll use washi tape and I'll just cut letters out of them, and I need to use the backing tape for that. But that is how I've kind of organized my PET sample loops, and a little peek at my PET collection that is in these plastic containers, and they're really heavy. The rolls are very, very large. They're like 10-meter rolls. But that is all for today, and hopefully you enjoyed. If you liked the video, please give it a like and follow for more content. I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.